Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant. Welcome back for more of Let's Play Pokémon SoulSilver. Last time we did just about everything there is to do here in Vermilion City, so I figure we'll move on up north because I don't see us being able to do much of anything else around here. And right off the bat we get TM62, Silver Wind, just hanging out in the route here. It's a very interesting move. It's like Ancient Power. I don't know if we've seen that or if I've had a chance to explain it before. It's a bug-type move, 60 base power, only has 5 PP, but has the chance of raising all of your stats at once, including both attack and special attack, both physical and special defense, and your speed in the same turn. I don't remember what the probability of that happening is, but it doesn't happen very often. And a lot of the Pokemon that we can find here in the route on the wild, yeah, because in the route on the wild, that makes sense, are Pokemon that we've seen before, except Cherubi here is from the 4th generation, I believe. It's a baby, it's either a baby form or just the regular unevolved form. I don't remember seeing it very often. But of course, it's not very much to write home about either. It's just another one of those Pokemon from foreign regions that we can run into now in trainer battles. Really nice. But I don't think there's anything on this route that's of interest, so I'll be avoiding the grass if possible, and it is fairly possible. No, laptop, you are not going to restart. You will restart later. We've been over this before in that Donkey Kong Land 3 video where you tried to do the same thing, and hey, it's Plusle and Minoon from the 3rd generation. Or Minoon or Minoon, whatever. Either way, they're electric types, and I do not want to stay in on them. So let's go to Krakow just to wall them, and see how powerful a return is. It's gotten to the point where, even with... I'm starting to think about how powerful his return on Duster is compared to his other moves, even if they were super effective. Like, for example, his special attack stat isn't much to write home about, so Ice Beam, unless it's on something like a Dragonite where it's 4 times super effective, it's not going to be doing more damage even if it is super effective. But when you're looking at something like Shadow Claw that would be super effective only 2 times, but it's also based on his physical attack stat, I think it's just barely more powerful than Return if I'm not powering it up with the Silk Scarf. So I'm going to try keeping all that stuff in mind, but at the same time, I try not to do too much intense calculation when I'm playing Pokemon. It's just not fun to do it that way. So let's just avoid the grass here. There are a lot less trainers here now than there were in Kanto, or the original 1st generation. Kind of confusing, that. But it's also nice that on these routes you don't have to walk through the grass all that much, and it's a Slack Off! Now this thing I will try purposely not knocking out on this turn, just to show off its ability. Slack Off from the Hoenn region, like its next, I want to say its 2nd evolution form, not the one after this, but the 2nd one, has the ability... I want to switch out so he doesn't... so I can show it off, because if I hit him and knock him out now, then he won't be able to show it off. But every other turn, Slack Off is unable to perform an attack because it's loafing around, and that's the Truant ability! It's the one of very few instances of Pokemon abilities that are negative, that you do not want to have, but on the other side of the coin, Slack Off and its evolved forms are very powerful, and their stats are extremely good, if you can work around Truant. I've never been too fond of that, but it appears we can't go beyond Saffron City without actually walking through it, unlike the original Golden, or the original Red and Blue and Yellow, where when you got to this point, you were in Cerulean City and you were not allowed access to Saffron, so you had to take the underground tunnel past it and down to this route. So it's the opposite of that problem that we had before. Which is a shame. I forget if it opens up later, but if it does, it's not all that useful. So we actually have to make our way through Saffron. Home of the Magnet Train. Unfortunately, it's not running because there's no power. There's some huge blackout going on here, and this is the first mention of it we've had. I guess Saffron's the only place that had to deal with it. Not sure quite how that works. You figure the power plant is powering more than that. And Silphco is here, too. Rock tunnel to power plant. That might be helpful to remember, because that's the only way we're going to be able to get to the power plant from here. So let's heal these guys up real quick, or at least Crunch, because he took all that unnecessary damage from Slack Off. And see what there is for us to find in and around Saffron City. The biggest city in the region here. The equivalent to Goldenrod City in Johto. And over here's the Silphco building. Remember that one from the first generation? The one Team Rocket took over? That's precisely why they're not going to allow us to explore it here, but even that rotating, yeah, he's not going to let us go up. Even if it was working, he wouldn't let us up. But for talking to him, he's going to give us the upgrade that would allow us to evolve Porygon if we could afford one from the game corner, which we can't, or maybe we could have before, but I spent all my money, so... Oh well, I almost forgot to talk to the secretary! Totally necessary. But as you can imagine, there's so much stuff for us to explore around for here. And the music here, too. The same music we heard remixed in Pokemon Pinball, I believe, which is why it sounds so familiar to me right now. But if we come in here and talk to this guy who doesn't say much of anything, he'll give us TM29, one you do not want to pass up. Psychic, the most powerful Psychic-type move in the game with no negative repercussions. It is 59. I don't know why I went right past it. He did? No, he didn't say 59. I was... 29! I do not remember things that happened 10 seconds ago! 90 base power, 100 base accuracy may also reduce the foe's special defense stat. Now, in addition to Klaus being the only one on our team capable of learning this move, although he would learn it on level up, he's not going to learn it for quite some time, so I figure we might as well give it to him now. See, Psybeam is base 65, this is base 90. So there's no reason for us to keep Psybeam around. And now Klaus is going to be a force in our battle as well. We're really getting on there in terms of our guys getting the most powerful moves that I feel like giving them. I also have to learn to make sure I stress the fact that when I say something is the most powerful move of its type, that it doesn't have any negative repercussions, because you have stuff like the elemental hyper beams we could have gotten for Crunch over in Blackthorn City, but that requires you to recharge, that sort of thing. And I don't think I talked to anybody in the mart that was in Vermilion City, but I don't think anybody is too interested in that. Radio Tower in Lavender Town, that's interesting. The only tower I remember there from the first generation was the Pokemon Tower, and that we had to climb for getting rid of evil spirits and ghosts and stuff. Now this over here is the gym. We'll probably be tackling this next time because I think it would take a little too long for this video. But there's plenty else for us to explore here too, like the Fighting Dojo, which is just to the left, and unlike any of them up to this point, you can actually tell the difference between the Fighting Dojo and the gym. I'm not sure if the Fighting Dojo always looked like this, or if the gym always looked like this, or both of them were renovated, or this one just didn't age very well. But this is going to be a very interesting area later for something that I won't be getting into just quite yet. Letting the gym leaders use the dojo while the Fighting King is away, you know, he was in Mount Mortar. We went to find him earlier, and he gave us a Tyro. But this is a hint to a side quest that we'll be getting into quite a bit later, where we can actually get the gym leaders' phone numbers and invite them over for rematches. When we do that, they'll show up here. But I won't be doing that until we have access to all 16, which means we're going to be waiting until after we get all of the badges to do that. But rest assured, we will be tackling this. Just not for a little while. And fire hydrants. Are there any other cities in this game that have fire hydrants? Or any other cities in any Pokemon game that has fire hydrants? Because you don't even see any vehicles around here either. How would you... That's interesting. Okay. But over here is the Magnet Train. Do you remember those train tracks that were above that one route before you get to Union Cave in Johto? That I, for some reason, didn't point out? It's for this Magnet Train! And if you recall from Goldenrod City, that's the station for the other magnet train, but we can't get on without a pass, and even if we had a pass, it's not running right now because the power is down. Which doesn't make sense, because this thing is... I guess it's still kind of powered on, but it's not doing anything. Lights aren't flashing. So it's something we're going to have to remedy before we're able to go onto the magnet train. That's a bummer. That's very interesting. Why is Professor Oak calling us, of all people? I swear, like, a half an hour ago, he called me to say the same thing when I was off-screening preparations for the Safari Zone. I'm hoping Balba calls me about that soon, because I have a couple of other kinds of objects I want to place in order to show off everything I want to show off there, and if he doesn't call us, I'm not going to have access to those objects, so... If we happen to get a call from Balba, that's why. But I'll get to that in a few months, because that's going to take a while. But up here is the house of the copycat girl. And if you remember from the first generation, this isn't necessarily where it is. It originally was where the station for the magnet train is. So they actually had to kick this girl out of her house, which is really unfortunate. Wow, she's good at this. Oh, it's just a Clefairy Pokédoll. And it's a Chirim Pokédoll. It's the evolved form of Cherubi, who we fought earlier. And here's a Probopass. And here's a Banette doll. Oh no, it's a real Banette! I love how they have all of these references to Pokemon from the new games that you wouldn't have run into by this point. But we'll be back to talk to the copycat girl later on. I'm wondering if there's anything else for us to do here in the city, or something else, like a very minor thing I could point out before we explore it. Maybe we could take a quick look at the route to the east. Because I don't feel like ending it off right now. But I'm not sure if we can go too far along here. Do we want to? I guess I could get a couple of the trainer fights here out of the way. Here's another underground path that we can't go through, which would take us to the western side of Saffron. Unfortunately, it won't open because of these idiots who are bikers and they are doing mean things, so we're going to have to fight them to get past it. Well, actually, they won't allow us to go down there anyway. But we might as well kick their asses because we have nothing else to do for the next 5 minutes. And I also like how the back of his bike has the horn of a male Heracross. You'll get a better look at that if we, at the end of the fight or when we fight the next guy. But I still cannot get over how much I love this music. This music, it may take me a couple of episodes for me to get over how much I love this music. But since he's sending out another coughing, it gives me a chance to show off Psychic in action. Or as opposed to Psybeam, which was just a little beam of psychic energy, this is... Just picture that. I know it doesn't look like the most intimidating attack in the world or the most powerful thing, but hopefully he uses another coughing so I can show it off again. Just picture Klaus building up a huge amount of mental energy and then instantly transmitting it into the coughing to the point where it explodes within its mind. Just think about how powerful it would be if somebody sent a wave of mental energy that strong into your brain, causing it to, I don't know, expand within your skull. You have how many of these stupid things? I thought he only had 3. He's got 4? Good lord, I should have cut this out. Dang it, Dwayne! Why you gotta be so cookie-cutter with your 4 coughings? Wasn't it Petrol of the Team Rocket Elites that had nothing but coughings except for 1 wheezing? Can we be just a little bit original? I guess you can't expect too much from bikers, but see, there's the bike, and the back of it looks like the horn of a male Heracross, like on HCP! It's so cute! And Mom's calling. I still have her collecting money from us, because I don't have a reason not for her to. The level 45 Flareon isn't anything that Crunch can't handle. Crunch wants to learn Screech? No, you don't! And Mob's calling us again. What do we get for beating them? TM41 Torment. Now this is another one of those situational TMs that... Where is it? 71? I never... See, I say what number it is, and then I immediately forget and look to it and get lost on the way there. Torment! For 2 to 4 turns, it makes your... I think it's 2 to 4 turns. It makes your opponent incapable of using the same move twice in a row. It's really weird and really situational, but what are you gonna do? There are just moves like that, you gotta deal with them. And it looks like Crunchy is getting a little bit restless, and admittedly I would be too, because we probably should make our way over to the Saffron City Gym, which we'll do next time because I don't feel like putting it off any longer. This is UniversalGiant, and once we talk to this man, I'll heal these guys up in this Pokemon Center, and we'll take on the gym next time.